These are the ingredients for my kimchi. We have radishes, spring onions, carrots, garlic, fish sauce. I've never used this before, and I had to ask someone in the supermarket if they had any, and they weren't sure. They took me to the Oriental food section. And here it is, a bottle of fish sauce. Fish sauce. Ah! Twat! Oops! No harm done, I don't think. Anyway, that was the fish sauce. Ginger! Ginger. And the recipe, it says chilli sauce. I just got some chilli paste. Other people use chilli flakes. Chilli paste. And the main ingredient, this is Chinese leaf lettuce. And the recipe, it says Chinese cabbage. And I'm presuming this is the same. I couldn't find any in the first supermarket I went to. Got this from Morrison's. It looks like what they have in the photographs for kimchi. So this looks like the stuff. So those are my ingredients. Also it requires sugar and some flour. It does say rice flour, but I couldn't find any rice flour, and some people have used normal flour. It should be okay. That's to make the paste. And sea salt. This is some sea salt I got in Scotland when I was up there last, and it's mixed in with seaweed. Seaweed infused sea salt that I got in Scotland. It might be a bit of a waste actually, because I'm gonna salt the Chinese cabbage and then rinse it, so all the seaweed infused stuff's gonna get washed away, but maybe it will encourage the fermentation. I don't know, but it's the only sea salt I've got at the moment, and I wanna do it now. Preparing the cabbage. For reference, the cabbage weighs 825 grams. I think it's quite a big one. That's a healthy looking cabbage. I've given it a rinse under the tap. Now I'm going to chop it into 2 centimetre strips and fit it all in this bowl, hopefully, or I might need to. Chop. So it's all chopped. It's a bit full for one bowl, so I've split it into 2. So I usually allow, for sauerkraut, I've used a tablespoon for every kilogram of cabbage. Here we've got slightly less than a kilogram of cabbage. There's 800 grams, so it's 400 grams each. So I use slightly less than half a tablespoon for each bowl. Sprinkle it on, about right. Give that a bit of a squeeze. Bit of a mix. I'm going to cover these with water. It's not enough water. I'm going to try and stuff it in this box. I don't know if the cabbage is supposed to be covered like you would do it using when you're making sauerkraut. I don't know if the cabbage is supposed to be covered with water, or like when you're making sauerkraut it's sort of half in, half out. So probably not, because this is just an overnight stage, so I think it's to draw liquid out of the cabbage and maybe just start the fermentation process. I'm not sure. I think we just want the cabbage to wilt. I'm going to leave it like that. The water's comes to about halfway up, the liquid. The liquid comes to about halfway up. So I'm going to seal that and leave it overnight. At room temperature, which is about 18 degrees C at the moment, but it will get colder overnight. So the cabbage has been standing all night in this Tupperware container in salted water, not completely covered, and it's time to rinse it. It's supposed to wilt. It still looks quite perky though. It still looks quite crisp. Anyway, time to rinse it, and to rinse it I've got lots of water, which it's tap water that I've put in bowls, and it's been stood for a couple of hours just to give time for the chlorine to evaporate, because I'm worried that might inhibit fermentation. So let's give it a rinse. Here's my cabbage, my Chinese lettuce, Chinese cabbage, Napa cabbage, and it's been soaked overnight in salty water, and I've given it a good rinse this morning. So now it's time to make the paste. 8 radishes. 8 radishes. 8 radishes grated. Ginger. 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 Looks like a horse. Ginger. 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 2.5 by 4. Slightly more than about 2.5 centimetres cubed of ginger. Cramp. Stringy. 2.5 centimetres cubed of grated ginger. 3 cloves of garlic. 3 cloves of garlic. 2 to start with. And then squeezed onto the radishes. Fish sauce. 2 tablespoons full of fish sauce. Well, that smells fishy. And 2 tablespoons of chilli sauce. I'm just using no fuss red chilli, no chopping. 1. It's almost half the jar. So now I've got to blend this. I haven't got a blender. I'm going to mash it up with a fork and hope that will do. Mix, blend, blend, mix, mix, blend. My kimchi paste. Kimchi paste. It doesn't look like there's much paste for the amount of cabbage. So that's the carrots chopped into matchsticks, and the spring onions chopped up. Come back. I forgot one of the ingredients for the paste, and that's a tablespoonful of sugar. I'm using demerara sugar because it's what I've got in the cupboard. Time to mix this stuff together. Cabbage. carrots, spring onions. Oh, some of these are too big. Oh, I've got chilli on my fingers now. Don't rub your eyes. I can use these bits to hold down the cabbage when I put it in the jar. It's not mixing very well. It's too... I don't know. I guess you want to get a bit of the paste on all the cabbage. I'm breaking some of the leaf spines to make it more compact. So I haven't quite used all of the cabbage. There's still quite a bit left, but I think there's enough there to fit in the kilner jar that I'm going to use. And the paste is spread pretty thin. So let's see if we can fit this into this. How do I get it in? I'm going to have to use my hands. And smash it down. Okay, that's proved to be quite messy. Got it in my kilner jar in the same style as I would do if I was making sauerkraut. I've got an upturned shot glass pushing the cabbage down so it's all, the kimchi down so it's all under liquid. Apart from I used a few of the thicker leaf spines on the top to keep everything pressed under the liquid, and I remove those when I come to eat it. It's looking good, but it's been a bit messy. So that was quite messy. I've tidied up and now have a nice jar of kimchi, or what will be kimchi when it ferments. Nice and colourful, red and green. So I'll be putting that on a shelf in the kitchen to ferment for a few days before I try it. Looks good.